What is up, my people? We are back. Today, we're going to talk about some things that been brought to my attention and to most of you guys' attention as well. When it comes to the boxing world, when it comes to even some cinema. So, so yeah, let's get started. Um, so, a couple of days ago, I had just heard something that made me remember a quote that he said, which is, "There is no tomorrow." And then when he died, somebody posted a clip of Rocky 3 where he says that there is no tomorrow. And I was like, oh, so that's where that came from. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if like maybe the universe or whatever is telling you, oh, this guy's gonna die or something. Or or maybe the message because because the reason that quote even came up was 'cause somebody was giving me like a pep talk, which I'm not gonna go into, but for personal reasons because it's personal, and and he said something like it was like people always want things to be perfect, for them to take the next step or to take that big step or whatever, but it's never gonna be perfect. You gotta just think of the now because tomorrow is not really there. Doesn't really exist. So it's pretty much the same concept. And I was like, oh yeah, there is no tomorrow. And then I didn't remember, didn't click that he had said it in the movie, um, Rocky 3. But, um, but yeah, Mr. Carl Weathers, he's definitely gonna be, in our minds for a long time because of his iconic role in Rocky 1, 2, and 3. And, and his memory is gonna definitely live on. And from what I hear, he died in his sleep, so he died peacefully, which is great in my opinion. That's if you want to go some way, you want it to happen in that way. Um, and and the thing about it is that we're gonna remember him for the good times that he gave us and the good memories that he gave us. Um, and that's I think Um, that's one of the reasons why I think death is only the beginning because the memories, your memories, um, will carry on. And hopefully we make good memories with those we love because that's how they're gonna remember you. A cousin of mine died a couple of years ago, and every time I think about him, it's always in a good, happy way. Because those memories that we had were always good. And yeah, so R.I.P. to Apollo Creed, and and he will live on in our memories for sure. Moving on to the other news of the day. We're not gonna get undisputed, guys. So that's that sucks really. Um, Now I had barely made a video about kind of like an analysis of the fight, or more like a talk, about the fight, the strategies that each fighter was going to implement, and this, that, and the other. And the thing about it, I had my suspicions that the fight was even going to happen. So I had, um, usually there's a voice in my head that's like, this is bullshit, and it's usually always right. Um, but sometimes I don't go with that voice because I don't want to be pessimistic and I want to be that guy. That guy I don't like. Um, he's funny, but I don't like him. Um, so I've always tried to be an optimist, and I always wanna believe. I want to believe. Um, so, but it's like I knew, like I was holding back. I've made about 2 videos on this fight, and this is gonna be my third one now. But in all of them, I've always tried to be objective. I try to be nice about the situation, and saying anything about Tyson Fury. Um, and the reason for that is because I just said I just want to be positive and I want to believe. But the truth is that I had my suspicions Tyson Fury was going to pull out or he was going to pull something. Um, the reason for that is because it has happened before. You know, he's pulled out of fights before. This is like the third or fourth time that he coincidentally injures himself before a fight. He cancels the fight. Um, and the other reason I didn't want to say anything was because around the last time he claimed that he was going through mental illness, right? Which is something that here in the U.S. is like, oh, mental illness, back off. We can't say nothing about it because we certain things we believe morally we should respect, right? And so you don't touch those things. When people say mental illness, you just back off, right? The thing about it, the thing I've suspected for a while is that it was a lie. Okay, because it's not the first time that he's done these things. So now he does it again here in this fight. And in this fight, the thing I liked about it is that I didn't know who was gonna win. Of course, I thought Usyk was the favorite. And I thought Usyk had a better chance of winning, um, for various reasons that I've seen. The first things to go in a boxer is your legs, right? And Tyson, um, part of the reason why he adapted the Kronk style, gym style, was because what did I say? The Kronk gym style. um, the reason he adapted that way of fighting is because he's not the same guy anymore. He can't be running around the ring that much anymore. You know, and so he had to adapt to it. So that was part of the reason. It wasn't just because Wilder was the type of fighter that he could be with this particular style. It was many reasons, and one of them was that his legs were deteriorating. He couldn't move around no more. It happens to the best of them. Ali, part of the reason he even did the rope a dope, part of it was strategy, but the other part of it was that he can't move that way no more. He can't be floating like a butterfly no more. And some people adapt, and some people die by their style. Some people, go out on a shield and they never change their style, like Roy Jones Jr., who his decline was fast and almost Icarus like. Um, but the thing about this about Tyson is that Tyson, I knew that he was gonna adapt, and I knew that he was gonna slick some move out. He was gonna do some kind of tricky shit. And I know this because a fighter, you could tell a lot about how a person fights. How a person approaches physical conflict between another man. This is the reason why I like martial arts, and this is the reason why I like, boxing and combat sports, or what I call ritual combat. The reason I like it is because it shows your character, what type of person you are, and how you handle conflict, how you handle, things even in the outside world, outside of the sport. And, if a person is one of these persons that just goes in, swinging and likes to brawl, that's probably how he takes his life, right? How he strategizes things around his life. He just goes for it. He's a goer. A bit more defensive-minded person is going to be a lot more strategical outside of boxing as well, or at least more of a cautious person. But the way I see Tyson is a person that likes to do the least amount of work and get the maximum amount of uh, rewards for it. And the reason for that is because he was only forced to learn certain aspects of boxing later on and adapt. Which is the opposite of someone like Mayweather who knew the fundamentals first, and then early on in his career was taught the other tactics, and then he just adapted as he went along. But he already knew that stuff. Tyson Fury um, adapted it later on, meaning he joined another gym to. He just saw what they were doing. They were like, "Yeah, I need that," um, which is a little different. Um, a person that does something, he sees something that's going to happen, and he strategizes around it immediately on the spot. Um, and that's a little different to me. And just the way that he's going to think about it, he's going to try to out slick the situation, or get out of the situation, not ever enter into a possibility of the opponent even touching you. And if he does enter that situation, it's going to be through a clinch, through a neutral grounds, or through somewhere where he at least has somewhat of a chance. So, and you can see it across the board. People that fight this way also are like that in the outside world. So yeah, man. What I think this is, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, um, it's a fake cut," or he did it on purpose, or I don't know, right? Um, I do kind of believe that, all right, and the reason for that is because nothing that he says adds up. We've seen it happen in the past. That's number two, and number three, um, I heard somebody say that, oh, how could he be working out so hard, to do something like this? And the thing is, maybe he's preparing for another fight. I heard somebody said that. I think it was Ring IQ. Shout out to Ring IQ. And he said that maybe he's preparing for another fight. And I wouldn't put it past him, because um, this is something that would make sense. The other thing is, I saw an interview that he had with um, some British some British newscaster or whatever. I don't know who he was, some interview guy, and and it was just him, because I saw the other one where he was interviewing both Usyk and Tyson. And this is just a new one that came out where it's just Tyson and the interviewer, and they were asking him, what does it mean for you to be undisputed? And he was like, it doesn't mean anything to me. And everything he was saying in that video, it just it's just, I felt like he was too relaxed, and something about it, the way he was talking as well, like he didn't care about it, and that it didn't mean anything about for him, and that he was only caring about money. That it got to me in a way that I was like, he either, because and it was just the stuff that I mentioned. There was other stuff where he said that, what are you gonna do on that night? He said, I'm gonna make a lot of money. And then I was like, this is the attitude of the type of or the words of the type of guy who number one knows he's gonna lose, or knows that he's not going to do it. And something about it just was like, dude, something is up, to the point to where he's either gonna go in there and take a dive or not do much, and just give us one of these fights that are more like ASMR than an actual fight, or he's gonna pull out. Like, he doesn't seem like he. Because when a guy's gonna go into a big fight like this, he starts thinking it's fight for undisputed and this and that, and I'm gonna give it all I have, or whatever. He was just like, it doesn't mean that much to me. The only reason I'm doing it is because of money. Um, if there wasn't enough being paid, then I wouldn't do it. And some of the stuff didn't even make sense to me because he said he was addicted to boxing or something like that. Um, so the thing about him is like, the thing about Tyson Fury is like he is this type of guy who, by the way, this part is gonna make some people mad. Just gonna go ahead and tell you if you have political leanings, um, and if you love certain guys in politics and you base your personality around them, you might want to turn off the video now. But he reminds me a lot of Donald Trump, right? And to the point that he says a lot of things in the heat of the moment that don't really make sense at all, and it contradicts something else that he said a while ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, or 3 minutes ago sometimes. And it's because these people, they don't really care. They feel it, they say it. They feel it and they say it. Which most regular people, they have a filter, and they think something. No, this guy's a piece of shit, but they're not gonna say it. You're a piece of shit. Why? Because that's just not something you do for various reasons. There's consequences to everything you do. Somebody might punch you in the face, or whatever. There's just consequences for everything. So it goes through a filter. These types of guys, they're not really thinking about what they're saying. There's not much behind it. They just know that they could say anything because they're in a certain position that they could say anything. And the main part that in the last, not this interview, but the last interview that they had with him, they asked he was talking stuff about Usyk, and he told him that he had an earring, and that means that he's, I guess, gay or something like that, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's so stupid, dude. It's like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you don't know people with earrings. Didn't he have an earring at one point? I don't know, maybe. And I was like, dude, he is he trying to get off of the fight or something? And then all of a sudden I see somebody in the back. I don't know if you could still catch it or they erased it, but somebody like touch his back or something, or maybe they were fixing a microphone, or I don't know. But it felt like somebody was just poking him in the back, saying like, "Yo, shut up." And then he immediately did a 180. He was like, "Oh no, I respect him, and we're both Christians, and that's what I like, that we're both Christians." Putting religion into something for no reason, And I know I say I'm a Christian in the channel, but that's neither here nor there. This is my channel. I can say whatever I want, and my religion doesn't affect how I give opinions. Because, for example, this guy's a Christian, I'm a Christian, Uzyk's a Christian, but none of that is important because I'm focused on boxing right now. I'm focused on the fact that this fight isn't going to happen, that we're not going to get undisputed because this guy decided to throw the fight, to cancel the fight. And I got to give it to him. He's a brilliant strategist. Okay, this is really what it takes to be on top, man. But the problem is, from my point of view, from what I want, from the thing that affects me is the fights. I don't give a crap about him or Usyk or whatever. Some people see this and they're like, "Yeah, go for it" or whatever. I'm like, dude, we're not gonna get undisputed because of this guy. So in my opinion, I think they should strip him from the belt. They should strip him. Whoever gets the belt, boom, bah, make the fight happen with Usyk, because we need undisputed. And I know it sucks that it's not going to be against Tyson, because it would have been a good fight. It would have been a great fight. But I don't think he wants to fight. And if he does get the fight, he's gonna get it when he feels like he has an advantage over him. And I knew this from the beginning, dude. I just didn't want to say it. Like the first video I had, I don't know even know if I went over it or not. But in that video, I was gonna be very negative about the possibilities of the fight. In that video, I was gonna be very negative about what I thought about Tyson. But part of me wanted to believe that he was a guy that comes back from adversity. Why? Because that's inspiring to me, right? And I want to believe that that's the type of guy he was, a guy who came back from actual depression. And I had my suspicions that it was bullshit. Of course I did. Of course I did, because this is vintage Tyson. Um, you know, but it's like it's like when you suspect, oh, my girl's cheating on me, yeah. But I don't want to believe that. You stop thinking about it. You just shut it down. Sometimes you just gotta believe, man, in the bad things, cause um, but it's crazy, man. Like, so we're not gonna get undisputed. Okay, that's pretty much what I believe now. I do think that Tyson did it on purpose. Um, I think it's obvious now, and I think, like I said, it's like if bad things keep happening around one person, it's not everyone else. It's him. It's that guy. I used to have a buddy of mine. I used to have a friend, and I had to cut him off because bad things always happen with or around him. I always have to go bail him out of places. Uh, the car broke down here, or this happened there, or I don't have money here, or it's always something with this guy. And I even did a test. I was like, I'm gonna stop talking to him for a little while, and then if I call him again and some other thing happens, that's it. It's him. It's that guy, right? It's him. So I did that. I did the little test thing where you stop talking to somebody for a while, um, and then it pops out again, and guess what? It's like it's the guy, bro. You got to cut that guy off. Um, and that's it, the thing with Tyson is like there was always a suspicion there, right? When he pulled out of the second fight with damn, I forgot his name, Klitschko, right? He postponed the first one, right? Then he caught him when it was the most common strategy ever. If you read um what's the name of the Book of Five Rings, the Miyamoto Musashi book. He would do that sometimes. He would call people, and it just depends. Like if somebody's super concentrated and they're super focused, if that's that kind of guy, if it's like a super focused guy, this affects those type of guys. So if you meet somebody and you know that that person has hyper focus abilities, meaning that if he puts his mind to something, he does everything possible to be ready or to win that thing. The best way to beat a guy like that, if he's a fighter, is you make a date and then you postpone it a couple of times. And what happens to him is that it tires their brains. That's a very common strategy. It just depends the type of person that person is. If the person is more of a relaxed guy, who stays ready, and he's more of a what do you call these guys? He's more like a sway guy. I don't know how to describe them, but these guys are always ready and they're enjoying what they're doing way more than your typical guy. Kind of like an artsy type boxer. These guys, they're always going to be ready. You're going to have to wait those guys out until they get old. And this is stuff that you learn by reading books. Um, but the thing about it is, I just want somebody to outsmart him because he's too much of a sneaky little boy and he wants to get ahead of things. And the thing about it is, you could use things to become great, and you could use knowledge to just get out of fights like he does. Um, and I feel like I want somebody who has both the furiosity of a Tyson and the strategic maneuvering of like a Floyd or something like that. Because Floyd used to do it all the time. He used to strategize outside of the ring all the time. He would do things like buy your trainer or um, your test company that used to test your drugs. Then he would buy your. But the thing is, he had money and he was smart. So I think to Pacquiao, what he did is he said that he was on drugs, right? He accused him of drugs, and then he bought his physical trainer, and he bought his the company that was with him. I forgot what it was, and then he fought him. So that's more of a mental like thing. If you see how Floyd fights, right, he likes to take whatever it is you like to do, take that from you, and then make you not want to use that no more. And that's the way he strategized outside the ring as well. If you look at the stuff he was doing. But anyways, guys, unfortunately, there's no undisputed. So there you go. And yeah, I'm not, from now on, I'm just gonna say what I believe. If I feel something's bullshit, I'm just gonna call it out. Yeah, Tyson Fury, man, he's not he's not as good as I thought he was. And it's obvious now. I mean, it was obvious for a long time to me, but like I said, I wanted to believe. And there was people that I listened to that was telling me, he's this guy, he's a shyster, he's this, that, and the other. And I was like, no, I think he's a good strategist or whatever. He uses it for good. Not anymore, man. You start looking at his record, and it's, you start looking at the things, and they're not so great anymore. And there's a lot of fights that he pulled out of as well. So there's that as well. But it is what it is, guys. Use your abilities, use your brain, and your knowledge of strategy to do good. And just go for it. Don't be dancing around too much, because nobody likes to see that. And remember, there is no tomorrow.
He's hooking. Damn, Ron, come on! What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is